Simpson Comanche Jack Stillwell was a notable individual in his time, although he did not achieve the same degree of fame as other famous cowboys like Buffalo Bill Cody or Wild Bill Hickok. His notoriety was primarily established due to his courageous performance in the Battle of Beecher Island, which took place in 1868. Bill Doolin, a notorious name in the Oklahoma Territory, began his criminal career as a member of the Dalton Gang. His notoriety significantly increased after he emerged unscathed from an intense shootout in Coffeyville. The photograph in question, a cabinet card dated 1896, captured by Doherty and Guthrie in the Oklahoma Territory, documents the tragic fate of Doolin. At 18 years of age, John Wesley Hardin left an indelible mark on the history of the Old West. This photograph, dated 1871, bears witness to that period of his life. By the end of his journey in 1895, Hardin had been responsible for the deaths of between 27 and 42 individuals, solidifying his reputation as one of the most feared gunmen of that era. This albumen print is a significant record of a crucial moment in the history of law enforcement and order in the Old West. It depicts the detectives of the Pinkerton Agency on their mission to pursue the infamous Wild Bunch Gang around 1900. On the left side of the photo, we can identify Charlie Siringo, whose previous trajectory as a cowboy in Texas and the New Mexico Territory adds an interesting dimension to his career as a detective. This cabinet card, an undated photograph, was created at the Pawnee Gallery, located in the city of Pawnee. The image reflects a time of divergent opinions about the Oklahoma Territory. In 1896, the Guthrie Daily Leader recorded a prevalent sentiment of that time with the statement, "Nothing good exists or can come from Oklahoma." Roy Bean, pictured in this cabinet card-style photograph from around 1895, is an iconic figure of the Old West. Self-proclaimed as the law west of the Pecos, Bean administered justice in a unique and controversial manner, conducting his legal duties from a bar in Texas. He gained fame for his unconventional and often arbitrary approaches in handling cases. In this image, dated August 18, 1868, we can observe Satanta, a prominent Kiowa chief, proudly displaying a peace medal that was likely awarded to him during the signing of the Medicine Lodge Treaty in 1867. This photograph documents a historically significant moment, illustrating the complexity of the relationships between Native American peoples and the United States government during that period. Frank Randall, a renowned Old West photographer, is recognized for capturing some of the earliest images of the influential Chiricahua Apache leader, Geronimo. In 1884, while at the San Carlos Reservation in Arizona Territory, Randall produced a series of memorable portraits of Geronimo, including this particularly striking image. In the month of March 1886, photographer C.S. Fly, operating in Tombstone, Arizona Territory, accompanied General George Crook of the United States Army on a mission of great importance that crossed the border into Mexico. The photographs captured by Fly during this historic event are of particular value. Among these notable images is one that portrays a group of men, women, and children from the Chiricahua Apache tribe. George Armstrong Custer, an iconic and controversial figure of the American Old West, is the subject of this cabinet card-style photograph. The photo was taken by William Howell in New York City in April 1876. This portrait holds extraordinary historical significance, as it was captured just 2 months before Custer and his troops met their tragic fate at the Battle of Little Bighorn. McCubbin, an avid collector of historical photographs with verifiable provenance, finds himself in an intriguing situation related to a particular photograph in his collection. While there isn't a direct link established to confirm that the image belongs to Buckskin Frank Leslie, McCubbin holds the belief that the photo is of him, based on a comparison with a previously authenticated portrait of Leslie. The first original historical photograph acquired by McCubbin features Pat Garrett, the sheriff of Lincoln County, and one of the most iconic figures of the Old West. Garrett gained notorious recognition primarily for his involvement in the capture and killing of the infamous outlaw Billy the Kid, an event that occurred on July 14, 1881, and immortalized his name in American Western history. Lola Montez, an intriguing personality of the 19th century, gained notoriety for her acclaimed performance known as the Tarantula Dance. This presentation became famous in 1853, the year she arrived in California. Montez's dance was a captivating and suggestive interpretation that deeply fascinated the imagination of the audience of that era. At the young age of 20, John Henry Holliday achieved a notable milestone by graduating from the Pennsylvania College of Dental Surgery. This image represents one of the rare adult portraits of Holliday before he became one of the most iconic figures of the Old West. Holliday is best known for his skill with firearms and gained fame for his role in the famous gunfight that took place behind the OK Corral in Tombstone. Known as the New Mexico Rustlers, they make an appearance in a cabinet card portrait dating back to around 1880. Speculation among historians suggests that the man featured in the photograph could be John Kinney, an infamous leader of a gang specializing in horse and cattle theft in the New Mexico Territory. This gang was active during the 1870s and 1880s. The Texas Rangers, historically recognized as the first fully integrated and official law enforcement force in the United States, trace their origins back to the days of the Republic of Texas before its incorporation into the United States. A significant milestone occurred in 1874 when the Frontier Battalion was established, consisting of 6 companies of Texas Rangers. James Butler Wild Bill Hickok, widely recognized as the first and most famous gunslinger of the Old West, achieved fame in 1865 due to an iconic duel with Dave Tutt. This direct confrontation set a precedent for numerous shootouts later depicted in Hollywood films. An image of Hickok dated around 1865 captured this historic moment. The photograph, dated 1887, taken by John Grable, portrays a cowboy known in copyright as Fred Pierce, a prominent Wyoming cowboy. Although he has been mentioned as notable, the figure of Fred Pierce remains shrouded in mystery, as there are no clear records of his presence in the 1880 Wyoming censuses. While involved in the execution of a warrant for the arrest of Andy Cooper, a notorious horse thief in Holbrook, the Arizona Territory, County Sheriff Commodore Perry Owens became embroiled in an armed confrontation. During this shootout, Owens had to confront 3 criminals, Andy Cooper and the brothers Samuel and John Blevins, all of whom were shot and killed in the incident. Bat Masterson, a former U.S. Army scout, gained renown as a relentless and highly effective sheriff. He held a deep respect and admiration for Wyatt Earp, a colleague and prominent figure of the Old West. Masterson expressed his conviction to President Teddy Roosevelt that Wyatt Earp was the only person capable of accurately recounting the events of the Old West. This depicted image, dating back to around 1850, portrays an individual whose identity remains shrouded in mystery. The daguerreotype is notable for its rarity and depicts a frontiersman of diverse ancestry, very possibly belonging to the Metis community. The Metis are known for their rich cultural heritage that combines indigenous and European elements. This daguerreotype, dating back to approximately 1850, is one of the earliest known photographs of a fur trapper and depicts James P. Beckworth. Later, this image was included in his biography, which was initially published in 1856. Beckworth was born in 1778 in Virginia, the son of an enslaved mother and an Irish descendant overseer. Despite buffalo hunting being a common and significant activity during the Old West era in the United States, it is notable for the lack of photographs documenting the buffalo hunters of that time. One notable exception is this cabinet card, dated around 1880, which portrays a buffalo hunter posing with his Sharps rifle, a weapon often associated with this practice. The attempted bank robbery in Northfield, Minnesota, perpetrated by the infamous James Younger gang, ranks among the most memorable criminal events of the Old West. After the members of the gang were captured, carte de visite photographs, a widely popular type of photography in those times, were created to document the captured outlaws and, in some cases, those who lost their lives in the incident. Samantha Fallon was a prominent businesswoman in Tombstone, Arizona Territory, owning the San Jose House Hotel and a hat boutique. This entrepreneurial woman is captured in a cabinet card photographed by C.S. Fly, dated around 1879. In addition to her prominence in business, Fallon was known for her personal relationships with influential figures of that time. During the negotiations that took place in March 1886 between General George Crook and Geronimo, a critically significant event in the history of the conflict between the United States and the Apaches, photographer C.S. Fly captured an extraordinary moment. He immortalized the image of an Apache wearing a remarkable 3-piece suit, an attire that starkly contrasted with the traditional clothing of the Apaches. The obituary of John Wesley Hardin, widely known as a notorious Texas outlaw, was concise and to the point. John Wesley Hardin, the famous Texas outlaw, is no more. This announcement was made following the tragic 1895 incident when lawman John Selman killed Hardin at the Acme Saloon in El Paso, Texas. The last known photograph of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, two of the most famous outlaws of the Old West, dates back to around 1907. This image was captured in the Bolivian Andes, a setting that starkly contrasts with the vast plains and towns that were typical of their earlier adventures. This image of John Simpson Chisholm, widely known as the Cattle King, was included in The Story of the Outlaw, a 1907 work written by Emerson Howe. Chisholm, a prominent figure in the cattle industry since 1854, entered into a business partnership with Charles Goodnight and Oliver Loving in 1866. Together, they led the trail driving of massive cattle herds into the New Mexico Territory. The Apache Kid is a historically enigmatic and controversial figure, notorious for his connection to the Apaches in the southwestern United States. Initially celebrated as a skilled and trustworthy scout for the U.S. Army, his path took a dramatic turn due to a series of conflicting events and misunderstandings. These incidents led to the classification of the Apache Kid as a fugitive